Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you keep giving me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
Right, that looks alright on my end. You're frozen, but I feel like that's just because how you sound. I saw you blink.
So, are we ready?
Yeah.
Stop
picking my nose.
Fucking bogey hanging down now. You open that trap door.
Fucking nose hairs. That's the thing that gets me.
So,
Must be getting
are we
old.
ready?
Yeah. Go for it.
What number? I think it's 29.
29.
Is it?
God. Do we have a party when we get to 30? Is it 29?
It's 28
Do you want to
29?
check?
Yeah, check.
I'm going to go to this. Chippy Tea. Yeah, 29, because I've got fold already. Yep, 29.
Organised little bastard, aren't you? Right, okay, here we go. So,
Like, get professional. That means action.
Oh,
I think.
Okay. You should have told me that earlier. Right, so here we go. Welcome to episode 29 of Chippy Tea Podcast. What is the Chippy Tea Podcast? It is a chance, an opportunity for you to listen in, to eavesdrop, and have a good old nosy at a conversation between me, Tony Palmer from Palm Print, and
Danny D, Funk Flipping Sweet Print Go.
Cool as.
Nice to be here.
As we basically have a catch up on a Friday afternoon about what we've been doing, what's gone on this week, what's appertaining, what have we been playing with, what we've been touching, what have been not touching, what have been doing that we shouldn't have been doing, and have a good old natter. We try and stick to screen print, but there's no guarantee. We could be talking about seagulls or anything. We could go anywhere. So we'll kick off this week in true fashion, Chippy Tea podcast fashion. Just a side note, I hope you're following us on Instagram by now. Danny's building the numbers up, aren't you?
Mm.
So we're going to throw straight...
about 50 up now.
Oh, well done. So we're going to throw straight over to Danny. And I just want a bit of a recap, a bit of a summary on what you've been doing this week, Danny.
Well, I've done a little bit of printing. Just for a few early January orders. Nothing too flashy. I haven't got much of a show and tell. Order-wise, what I've been printing for other customers, just standard tattoo shop apparel, skulls and daggers and all that type of stuff.
Black shirt, white and red print.
Pretty much white and grey print. So I've been doing a bit of fairly standard stuff. So to give myself a little bit of satisfaction, I got my highbuild screens back out and I had a little play again.
You got some show and tell?
Got some show and tell.
Wow,
now,
let's have a look.
According to my Instagram numbers, I think everybody's already seen it, but there you go. Nice little bit of highbuild. So it's hard to show highbuild on a webcam because
it is, isn't it? Yeah.
But very nice and 3D.
Very good.
I'm quite enjoying it, this highbuild challenge. And you know what I like it best about it? I can't find much information on how to do it. So if I go online, there's very little. There's not very many articles, especially in terms of the technique of printing, how you actually pull your ink and setting you off contact and whether you should use multiple screens, etc., etc. I'm not finding anything. I did find one. Yeah, well, I found yours. That was the one where you... Now then, where was that for? I can't remember, but I specifically remember that one. That was a good article. But generally speaking, apart from that, there's not a lot. Now, I know what happens.
I've been doing highbuild today as well.
Have you actually? That's cool. So you've been doing it well.
On and off.
Let me ask you where you've been first of all, then.
So I'm in.
Why didn't you tell me where you've been?
I'm in France at the
France.
moment. This was a call I got to help out at a print shop, and you never know what you're going to get. I got very little sort of communication and information before I set off. So other than they've been printing a long time, they've got some new employees and some old employees. Can I go along and give them a little bit of training and help them along? Which I've done probably that last 3 visits I've done. So I'm okay with it. It's fine. And when I got here, they were printing. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop, right? When I walk into a print shop, my eyes are all over. I'm having a good old nosy. You don't have to tell me anything because I can read a print shop really well.
Yeah.
So I can see what's happening, and I can see this machine. And there's 3 NHMs and 2 M&Rs. There's 5 machines, 5 autos in this shop.
Bloody hell, big shop.
And I'm walking past and I'm looking, and on the table are some films, some positives. And I walk back, and I looked, and it sort of like made me stop and go, oh, that's interesting. Straight in, dived in, and I'm holding them up, and I'm like, fucking hell, that's really fine tonal work. Now, this can go either way. It's either someone who doesn't understand dots, frequency, and lines, and they use the printer's resolution as their screen ruling.
All right. I see.
Yeah. So my eyes are not fantastic now because I'm knocking on a bit. So I'm looking, and I thought, that's not 55. It's not even 65. So I'm holding it up to like, I get my fucking glasses out. I'm having a good old look. I thought, I think they've used the screen ruling from the printer, 1200 DPI. Yeah, well, that's something I can tell them about and something I can help them with. And I'm looking at the film, and usually on the bottom of the film, it tells you the resolution that's been used. And it said 80 LPI, index stochastic.
Where's he gone?
Am I there?
Yeah, no, you're back. It goes in and out.
Did you just do that just to make me do a silly dance? You're not bad.
No, it keeps... No.
So
no, you're back now. You're back.
I had a look at these films, and I could read at the bottom the information: 80 LPI, stochastic, index separations.
Right.
Now this is really technical now. So this means that they do know what they're talking about, and they have upped their game to probably higher than I've seen for 15 years.
80 LPI. That's high, that, isn't it?
Very high for film work as well, not direct CTS, film work through an Epson T3200 thing. So I thought, I'll do a little bit of investigation here. It turns out the woman who's doing the films is awesome, really highly skilled, and does all the separations herself. And the woman in the screen room is just as awesome. Both got 20 years plus in this firm under the belt.
Oh, wow.
And she can get these dots out. The difference between stochastic and normal halftone rosettes?
Not a clue.
Okay. I'll...
Testing you now, aren't I? You shot yourself in foot, me.
I know, yeah. I ain't got an explanation prepared. So... normal halftone rosette pattern, which we normally see, and everything's in a line, everything's organised, and we've changed the angle. Yeah, we've got the frequency of the lines. Yeah. Very predictable. Probably 95% of printers use this method.
Yeah.
Well, there's another method that was big, early 90s, and it's software based, so you don't do everything the same. It's just on your output through your RIP that creates this. And some call it frequency modulated. FM, frequency modulated, or stochastic. And what it means is the dots are no longer in a pattern. They're no longer in these lines.
Yeah.
They sort of are in LPI, but they're randomly placed rather than round dots in a certain predicted place. So you don't get as much screen clash, but you get a lot more detail. So they're not all dots. Some of them are dots, some are sausages, some are that way, some are that way, some are that way. And it's a very mathematical way of solving problems like moire, screen clash. And it's supposedly, how old are you? Betamax. Do you know what Betamax is?
I know what it is. I'm not that old, but I know what it is.
So, late 80s, video was either Betamax or Philips VHS.
VHS, yeah.
And Betamax was a better quality.
It just never took off.
Nearly twice as good quality. But VHS was backed by Philips.
Yeah.
So, therefore, and I think Sony as well. So, therefore, the worst method of replaying a video became popular. Because they got in and they put it in all the stores and they put all the money behind it and they pushed it and marketed it. Well, this is almost the same with lines and stochastic and FM dots.
Yeah.
The index separations are better, but nobody does it because nobody quite gets it, and it's really easy to get hold of the Wasatch Rosette pattern and do it that way. So. It peaked early 90s, mid 90s, and then you don't see it. Well, I certainly don't see it much now. Anyway, I'd love to hear if somebody's still doing it. But I was blown away by the fact they're getting 80 LPI and they're holding it on a 90 mesh,
especially with film.
Yeah, on a film, on a M&R Starlight, exactly the same as you've got.
Wow, wow!
And it's honestly, the print was awesome. This anime Japanese woman face, and you couldn't see the blend where the skin tones mixed.
That's crazy, isn't it? That'd be crazy.
It was awesome. I was really impressed. So straight away, then I know that I'm in a good place. They know what they're doing here. Obviously, they've got some young guys in that are not as okay with all that. But all in all, I've got a bleeding phone call.
You can answer it. We'll just edit it out.
No, it's fine. I've lost you. You've gone.
I'm still here. It's been going on and off all the way
this
through.
is slick. There you go. You
see me? It's been doing that on and all the way through. I just have to keep staring and hoping that you're still talking.
It is recording. And I've got a few bits and pieces to do with this new staff, which is okay. I'm okay with the new staff. I can cope with that. But all in all, a very very knowledgeable team. Lots of experience. 20 plus years these two ladies have got, and they know some stuff.
That's I nearly said something nasty. I'm not going to say it. That's more than our favourite consultant times 3.
They could make really good gurus or consultants. Yeah. So it's good when you get that. But what they've got MHMs. They love them. They bought 2 MHM. They got 2 M&Rs. They love 3 M&Rs. They love them. They bought 2 MHMs and they don't like them.
Oh no, it's the same story.
Same story as last week. And the reason they don't like them is they don't understand them. It's a very familiar story. Now these are not new machines, so they are old. So they're they're not the peak sort of straight out of the box machines that you normally get. In fact, one of them's a little bit of a prototype, if I'm completely honest, and only has one way of changing the squeegee travel, where the standard is 2 ways always. So you've got a flood bar and a squeegee bar, and you can change the travel, the pressure on each one.
Oh, so why would you need to change the pressure of a flood? Why would you need to change that?
Water-based is a soft flood, and you lift up and give a good blanket. And plastisol and highbuild can be a heavier flood where you fill in the holes.
I see. That makes sense. Yeah.
So to change that pressure, you've normally got a little wheel that you move up and down, or a little dial that you move. Well, these are early MHMs, very, very early, 2001 this one. So this very early press didn't have the ability to change the travel of the squeegee, where it did the flood. And it blew my mind a little bit. I'm like, and I'm ringing people up. You know, when you first made these machines, did you not put 2 wheels on? Oh, yeah, the very first couple of machines didn't have the wheels on. Really? What fucking idea of that?
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially, why would you think I'm going to add it to the flood and not the... If you were going to add it to one, surely you do it to print.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah. But the print pressure was controlled by an air valve.
Yeah.
And it was backwards as well compared to what I normally get. So when I first walked in, the first thing I did, well, everybody's busy. I turned on the machines and I'm testing that it's been installed correctly and everything works okay with it. And it seems okay and everything's okay. And I start to make it print and it prints backwards. Well, that's not right. So I checked my settings and I changed some settings inside the program. Print again, prints backwards. So it's pushing instead of pulling.
Oh, that's all you need, isn't it? I bet you had a little breakdown, didn't you? I bet every single time you watched it, it was like, ooh,
I had a little shudder. Like, stop pushing this ink, it needs pulling. Anyway, I had to play with it, and I couldn't get it to work. That's all. And I went deep into the program, changed some settings from water-based to plastisol. I changed some start settings, some stop settings. Confident with myself. Pressed play. It went backwards again. Pushed.
Bloody hell.
What the fuck have I done here? So I'm on the phone now to people like, you know, when you first made these machines, surely you had the option to do this and the option. Oh, no, not in the first ones. First couple. No, we didn't learn that until later. So I've got a machine here, and it does everything like it should do. But this one here is like 8 years earlier.
Yeah.
And this one, actually, is a bit crap. What's going on?
Well,
so it took me a while, a lot of head scratching to be able to set it and ringing up some friends as well. You know, this industry is great because you can pick up the phone and just ask somebody, hey, you know that thing you've got in the corner? Does it do this? Yeah, mine does that. So does mine. It's okay then.
So when you're shopping for an auto and you're advising someone on which to buy, do you have an age limit? Because that would be a scenario, let's just say you got to that shop before they pressed go and bought that machine. Would you advise them not to?
That's a shitty question, Danny. It's difficult to answer. We'll use you as an example.
Is mileage on clock? And is it more that?
If it's you coming from a manual carousel, into your first auto, no.
Right.
Because you've no point of comparison.
No.
This shop had some MHMs, some M&Rs that were quite new.
Yeah.
And there was nothing wrong with them. They're in excellent condition.
Mm.
So then to go to what is supposedly a better press, but doesn't have as many functions on it as your supposedly old M&R, then I think my advice would probably have been not to. Because compared to what you have, this is not as good. So therefore, you're buying something that's not as good as what you already have. And surely the point of buying something is usually to improve what you already have.
Yeah.
So it's like me advising you to buy a four-colour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hang on, are you sure? Yeah, it's second-hand, but it's a four-colour, but it'll be all right.
It's just a fucking cruiser.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. You know I didn't say that. But yeah, I would never advise you to buy a cruiser.
No.
Because you're a professional, you know what I mean? You're not an amateur just playing at it. You're actually a professional.
That bad.
You started it.
I know. Right, so let me ask you 2 questions that stand out. First question is, are they water-based printers? And my second question is, what emulsion are they using? Because 80 LPI, I'll be curious to know what emulsion they're using. Because it's all in some detail, whatever it is.
I went to have a look at this as well. And are they water-based? No. They don't even know how to or where to begin with water-based printing. In fact,
Do they want to?
Some pigment. No, they just don't know. People stay in their lane sometimes. And these were staying in their lane in the... Oh, no, I'm losing you. No.
1 hour later.
Are you still there, Danny?
No, you're back.
He's still there. He's back now. Yeah. Yeah. This is, internet connection in France is not great. No, it's not France. It's this shitty hotel I'm in.
Yeah. Bates Motel.
It's like Bates' Motel, yeah. You drive up. I think some rooms are rented out per hour, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do is shine an ultraviolet light in this room.
I bet, yeah.
I think there'd be splashes on wall.
I once went into an hotel in London. It was near Camden, and we went to this hotel, and I swear to God, there was blood, feces, and other substances all over walls, and they'd not even no attempt. They didn't give a shit. They did not give a shit.
Before you got there, or after you left?
This is when I'd gone. After I'd finished. One of those wild weekends, wasn't it? Where I got lost this time in Camden. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we're pretty minging. So
I mean,
I can feel your pain.
You roll the dice sometimes with hotels, but this one's definitely a bit low key
in comparison to where you were last week. I'm not jealous.
I was like a little dog with two dicks.
I bet you were. Chuffing, no.
That were awesome. That one. But when I saw it, and I thought that can't be right. It must be in the village of Silverstone. It can't be after Silverstone's track. Because Silverstone is a little village.
Yeah,
so it can't be there. And then when I pulled up into Silverstone, and then across car park towards Megastore, I thought, where am I going here? And this just opened up into this hotel, which. Hang on, is this right?
Yeah.
That must mean the track is just over there. And I got to my room, opened my balcony, and it's looking into the pit straight.
They've literally just built it. Yeah.
Have they? I think he said it would finish in September, I think.
Yeah, because I don't think it were ready for last Grand Prix. So it was just after that, I think.
So then I got looking then on the internet, how much is this room
for weekend
when the Grand Prix is on? Because
not a
this
chance.
Is awesome. This is better than a standing ticket or anything. This is like F1 Paddock Club. This, it just wasn't available in July at all. Just not available. You just can't book it. It's not that it's booked out. You just can't book it.
No, I imagine it's not even open to the general public. You probably have to be a fucking celebrity or something.
Stuff. It looks like VIP stuff, yeah.
Does this always bugs me, this. You know, when you're watching Brundle's Grid Walk and you see all these celebrities with the free tickets and they don't even give a shit that they're there. But then you have
where they are.
Not a clue. But you have lifelong fans who will never get to experience that, but don't they deserve it? Because those are the ones who pay the tickets and fund the sport. But this is just the world, isn't it? It's an injustice. You've gone again.
Lost it.
I'm talking to my fucking self.
3 hours later.
Right, well, with a bit of luck, we might be all right. I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, we're talking about Silverstone, weren't we?
Yeah, I think we'd done Silverstone, haven't we?
Pretty much done Silverstone. I think we need a new topic. I've got a question. Well, I did have a question for you anyway.
Okay.
What was it? Oh yeah, that was it. What emulsion were you using? I mean, you probably did answer it, but it was like breaking up, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah, that's what you'd asked me, and I started to answer. So I was interested as well as to what they were doing to get this high quality. And the emulsion that they were using was Photico. With a diazer.
Now, I've heard of that. I have heard of it. Was it green?
FOTECO. Yeah.
Hmm.
But when I went in the screen room, there were little pots all over.
Right.
Some red, some blue, some green, all over the place. So it was difficult to know which one they're actually using.
Yeah.
Because it looked like they were sampling a lot, like they were playing with a lot. And I walked past a test, like a test screen.
Yeah.
Jesus, the dots and the lines they were holding on that was awesome. Don't know how they're doing it. I think it's just years and years of experience that the lady in there was very experienced.
Yeah.
And I had to take my heart off to her. She knew exactly what she was doing.
See, so what was they using a standard film printer, or were they using?
Yeah.
What do they call an image
Epson
setter?
3200.
That's what I've got.
It wasn't a heat-based image setter.
Wow.
You've got an Epson 3200.
Well, that pisses me off.
Exactly the same.
Strive to what they're doing. How much old 80 LPI now?
Yeah, well, give it a go, but it's all through Wasatch. What rip do you use?
AccuRip.
Okay, so whether AccuRip will let you do the stochastic dots or not, I don't know.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure it will. It'll let me bump up my LPI to whatever I tell it, but whether it'll do that, I doubt it.
Yeah, but it's always in one certain pattern.
Yeah. I think the only option on AccuRip, I think you get the option to change your LPI and your angle. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much.
maybe the dot, whether it's an ellipse or a dot.
Yeah, I think that's an option. That's it.
I've got a good friend of ours who makes the spider at Exile. And anything you want to know about dots, you can just ring him. I mean, it's an hour of your life you won't get back because you can't shut him up once you start talking about it. But his knowledge is proper deep, on dots and the shape of dots and the tone of dots and the type of calibration curves, and gets really deep into it. This is on my list. I've got to try and educate myself a little bit more on those.
Yeah.
I don't have to get by, but
Interesting.
But yeah, the emulsion, just an everyday sort of normal emulsion. They had made some high build screens, so we've been playing with hybrid. You said you were doing some high build.
Yeah.
So you were doing some high build, and as usual,
as usual.
So, first of all, right, I walk in. So we're glad you're here because we've got this bit of a shit job. Oh, great. What is it? One colour, water-based on bags.
Right.
For Lacoste.
Oh, wow.
Snappy dresser. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't sound like much of a challenge. That sounds okay. Well, we can get it to work on the M&R, but we can't get it to work on the MHM. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, turns out with just a little bit of education, we got it to work. It worked lovely. It worked fine. There's a couple of negatives for printing bags on the MHM against printing bags on the M&R. Now, I would say these negatives change around when we go to T-shirts.
Yeah.
But when we're on bags, it turns out that the bags were high quality, obviously, from the brand that they are.
Oh, yeah.
And where the handles are stitched, there's quite a big lump where the handles are stitched at the top.
Yeah.
So this can sort of create a little bit of false off contact, if you like.
Yeah, you run into this problem
like a bit of packing
and other such garments.
Very similar sort of thing. Plus, the MHM is a very fast machine, and what makes it fast is the screens only come up and down about 30 mil.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of clearance as the beds, the pallets move between the pallet and the screen. It's done on purpose to make it faster. But if we get bulky garments like these with a handle sticking up and those two bits of stitching, it can catch and rub. And a couple of bags have ripped open on the side of the screens. And so they're like, this never happens on our M&R. And I went, yeah, you're right. Because the M&R drops the whole table down
It
then
moves, doesn't it?
spins,
Yeah.
and then lifts the table back up. Whereas the MHM moves the table and the screens come down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the other way.
Right.
And the little 16-inch by 20-inch square pallets, like yours,
Yeah.
behind you, you can hang the handles off the edge.
Yeah, you can drop them off at back. Whereas the MHMs are quite
You can drop them
longer,
off
aren't they?
You can drop them off at back. So the right Yorkshire saying, you can drop them off at back.
That famous Yorkshire
I
saying.
forgot. I started using me doesn't. You can tell I'm abroad, can't you? Because I started
Yeah,
talking.
he's already
proper.
forgetting himself. Forgetting where
Talking
he comes from.
proper. So, the MHM pallets are
Quite long.
45 centimetres by 70 centimetres. So that length is great when you're printing T-shirts because you've got a good print length. But
Yeah.
when you're printing bags, it's nice, like you said, to hang it over edge. Hang it over back. And it works quite well. And I didn't have an answer for him. Like, yeah, actually, as you say, it probably the M&R is more suited to this sort of print than the MHM. But that aside, you say that the MHM hasn't got enough power to print water-based ink onto a natural cotton shopper bag. And I dispute that fact. So, I go Billy Big Bollocks again. Well, to cut a long story short, we nailed it. We got it.
Yeah.
It was just bad information, wrong blade, wrong mesh, wrong setting, turning pressure down, all these little tiny things, but they all add up to being, right, okay, if we do it properly, it'll work. Try and cut corners, it don't work.
It was very similar to last week when you were telling me, I think they've got the MHM and they've got barely any air pressure coming through.
Half air pressure.
But then their M&R, they were like properly bending and
the screen.
fluttering as it goes along. But
yeah, very similar story again. This does happen a lot. I get a very similar story sometimes everywhere I go, which is why I posted on Instagram today. Trilock. Again, I've got this. I went to this company. Somebody prints the films out. Then it goes to another person who mounts them all on carrier sheets.
yeah,
Expert, taking a lot of time. And then that person then passes them to the screen girl, and the screen lady will then mount them on the Trilock system on the carrier sheet and take great pleasure and pride in making sure they're all lined up perfectly.
Yeah.
Then they go out onto the shop floor, and Billy Big Bollocks out there with his hammers just going bang, 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 bang. Yeah, that's about right. You use the Trilock. The what? The Trilock. Do you use the Trilock? Oh, you just got really HD quality there. What happened?
Oh.
So we don't use the Trilock. But the poor girl in the screen room is spending ages mounting all the films.
Doing it, yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one's taking ages mounting everything that way. Yeah. And then it comes out to press and you just don't use it? No, it takes too long. Well, do you want to let her know? Tell her to stop bothering. You can just bang the font, pause you in the middle of the screen. So it's a very similar story to the one I was at last week. Same story. The old guy was sticking the carrier sheets together, and then when it got to shop floor, just bang it with an hammer.
They're chucking it in.
Here for tap at backing it.
Yeah, well, do you know what? You mentioned last episode that there were one shop that you know of, or that you could think of at the top of your head, who uses it well. I know what it is now. It's Lancashire, isn't it?
No.
Not Lancashire. Oh, hang on. Fuck. Tell me. Give me a clue. I know what it is. I've just got one shop.
Do you think you know what it is? Are they orange? You see, you don't know what it is. You don't know what it is, do you?
Well, anyway, radio was there anyway, Lancashire, because they were putting tips out on how to mount it to M&R. So I just put two and two together. Is it Lancashire? Not Lancashire, is it? Lancaster?
Lancaster.
Right.
Oh, Lancaster Pen. Oh, you mean over in America? You did.
Yeah.
Over in Lancashire, as in over other side at Pennines, where Manchester and Stockport,
No,
and
we don't talk about them.
Burnley and Bolton. No,
We all know. You know what I mean.
No. I did speak to him. He uses it. He likes it. He's okay with it.
Yeah.
And he's using film. The place in England that uses it well is our mate Hodge.
Oh, does he? All right.
Yeah, he's nailed it.
So he likes it.
Absolutely nailed it. But he uses CTS. He doesn't use films.
Yeah.
So he's got an Incy Wincy, a little spider.
Yeah.
And he sticks it on there. He sticks it on there with a 3-place position tri-lock, and it goes into his presses, and just by without even thinking or being told, the only routine, the only method they know is take a pallet off, put your new one on, bang, 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 take a test print. That's it. Done.
It works. This time, no micro reg.
No, there's still some micro reg.
Tiny bit.
Usually with a hammer. So the little taps. It's still with a hammer, you know. I don't think any pre-reg system is absolutely perfect.
No. There's a little bit of forcing it into place.
Yeah.
I imagine on any system or press. I have had to guess. Right.
I can't work out. Is you're really good quality and I'm really low quality? What's going on there?
God knows. Are you loading? No, you're all right. It's going to be a terrible episode there, so I'm going to stitch it together.
We'll stitch it together. It'll be about 3.5 minutes long. It'll just got I'll
will
have my glasses on, my glasses off. You'll have your hat on, hat off. Get changed. It'll be Thursday. And it'll be Tuesday.
It will. Standard episode.
Yeah,
Right, so I've got a question. What's we talk? What, did we finish what we were saying?
We were going about a tri-lock. Who said, "I know someone that makes it work."
Yeah.
I asked a question on Instagram. The result so far is 52-48.
How many votes? 3.
No, there's quite a few. There's quite a few votes. But
Right.
it's staying half
So it's a
now.
bit half and half.
It was 70-30.
Yeah.
And 70-30 was no. 70% said no. And it's come back to 50-50. And I'm getting more people telling me, actually, we use it and it's really good. We use it and it's not as good as they say, but it's good enough. Or we don't use it at all. So.
Because if you can get... I mean...
The problem is, right, if you get a twist, you spend more time getting that twist out and you curse yourself and you think, this is shit, I might as well just get it straight at me first. Even if I didn't get it straight, even if I didn't get it bob on, I definitely want to set it up with a twist because I know that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Whereas occasionally you get a twist.
Yeah. Oh, well. I'm still going to go on.
Other 3-point systems are available.
Anatole have their own version for my press.
Rock have a version as well?
Yeah. I think if you've got... You probably are... It's probably advisable to try and use the systems that go with your the brand of your press. If I had to put money on it.
Instead of buying a Vastix, is that what you're saying?
What an idiot, man. What a waste of money.
Call me. Just call me.
I will do. Yeah. So you didn't tell me... well, you didn't tell me about the highbuild. That was not to do with tote bags, was it?
No. So this was what I thought I was getting.
Have you used film?
Into the tote bags with one colour, which we fixed quite easily.
All right.
And then as soon as it got fixed quite easily, they went, what else can we give him?
Oh, what else is really bugging us?
And I saw this 8-colour 80 LPI job, and I thought they're going to throw that at me. This will really test me. But no, the lady that's been there for 25 years, she just sort of like, we'll leave the Englishman to do what he wants. I'll print this 8-colour job, and she just banged them out of the park with her eyes shut.
On a manual.
All right, well, I'm good for that. So then I go over to the press. Auto, M&L.
Yeah.
So they come over to me and it's like, right, okay, we've got this job, 4-colour process, CMYK, onto white. Okay, let's have a look. So, and then they set it up backwards.
Why? As in, like, the colour order?
No, they absolutely swear by this colour order. We've had this conversation before. I always do the song.
Yeah. God. See, I'm like... yeah.
Whereas they do cyan, magenta, yellow, black.
That's
now,
weird.
I had this poll on my Instagram, and that's the way the paper and board industry started.
Yeah.
And it changes. And then I've got some guys who stick to that and say it gets them better, brighter results. I personally believe the yellow first is the way to get a brighter, cleaner, more white showing through. But, you know, fuck what I know.
I've never sort of thought to print outside of that order. Maybe I should try it just for experiment's sake.
Yeah, well, it's not going to hurt anything, and it's easy for you to do, isn't it? Because you can move one screen or two screens, so it's dead easy for you to do.
Yeah,
you'll be able to see a live sort of version of exactly what happens if you don't stick to colour order.
Yeah. All right, so we've got you on this same YK job.
So I got on the CMYK job again.
TLPI?
Through it at the oldest MHM, expecting it to fail, and it did.
Yeah.
And they started to run it, and I'm like, whoa, stop. What's wrong? You've not taped all the reg marks off. And I'm like, what? Le quoi? the cross. What? Stop the cross. Well, these are just practice shirts. And they just continued with all the crosses on. I think they wanted to check the registration.
Well, funnily, I mean, as a slight diversion, I've been considering, because you won't get me those fucking test pallets, will you? I've been considering just finding the cheapest shirt I can, just ordering a box full, just using as test rags, because the only other option I thought was to buy actual T-shirt material on a big massive roll, just have it in corner somewhere, and then just cut off what you need. Yeah, which I have actually found, which actually don't look too expensive, so I might try that. But
it's got a cutting table to cut it into 18-inch squares when you're on your wing.
Well, I'm just going to have it on a roll and just cut off, just sort of like as and when I need.
It works, yeah. So did the 4-colour process job. That went well, okay. And as soon as that was running okay, they lost interest. I went, okay, let's find something else. So they came out. What else could we challenge him with? Yeah. So then they came out with this job, and I saw the 3 screens. I thought, oh, okay, we're going multicolour again. What is it? It's carbon fibre effect.
You see, just saying that, now I'm like, I want to try and do that now.
To make it look like carbon fibre. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, what are you doing to me here? And then I saw that it was carbon fibre, so it's really small detail, really high resolution. Okay, no problem. Then they brought the other screen out, and this is, and they called it something. And one of the words was density. Is that high density? See, Claire.
Clear. Carbon fibre going to use clear as an overlay, aren't I?
Yeah.
I predicted that before you even said it.
So then I end up with, oh shit, okay, here we go. And they think making a 200 micron screen is going to give them really big build. And it doesn't.
No.
You've got to do multiple layers at 200 microns. If you go 400 microns and you really push it, maybe. But at 200 microns, you've got to hit 2 or 3 times. Which we did. We hit it 3 times, and it worked quite well. But I think they were after more of a varnish effect, an over varnish effect, rather than a high step. Yeah,
because carbon fiber's got almost like a glossy pattern. You see, almost like. I guess that's what we're trying to achieve.
I did take some videos of it. I'll send you a video.
That'd be cool. I'm going to try to copy it. So, to get into the science of highbuild a little bit.
Don't you start.
Are you still here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Don't you start. Yeah, I can. So, because I can imagine. So when you say, because in their heads they're thinking, okay, why can't we just use one screen to make it go as tall as we want?
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that were bugging me. And I've come down, I think I understand why you need multiple screens. So you're going to build your first layer to the thickness you can get it.
Yeah.
Now, if I go, let's just say I use a couple of quid coins or some little spacers, or I move me off contact on the manual, that screen goes like that. The higher I move me off contact, it goes like that. It don't go. It's not parallel. So my highbuild print starts to fucking lean like fucking a Tower of Pisa. So this is where I've come to the conclusion that what you need is multiple highbuild screens, and you set your off contact based off of the first. So my first layer, the thickness of that, my next screen will be set to that as an off contact, and then maybe a third screen. So rather than trying to just up your screen every time and you'd having that effect, this is why you need multiple screens to build it up.
Yeah. See, you do listen to me sometimes. Also, on an auto, I have the opportunity to lift the off contact parallel.
This is what I mean. So
on the auto, because I've got these two adjustable sliding rods, shafts, if you like.
Yeah.
So I do my first one at 0, my second one at 3, my third one at 6, and my last one at 8. And it allows me to build as I go. But I'm not just lifting the front of the screen, I'm lifting both of them.
This is what I mean.
Stepping up. And it works really well for me.
You see,
we did. We got a good print off it. It looked well.
I've seen other printers who do highbuild. Not specials, obviously, but then I've seen a couple big auto shops who have done a few, and I'm looking at theirs and I'm looking at the thickness. And that was one of the things that agitated me. I was like, why am I nowhere near that thick? But I think it is. I think even, the auto, that feature, but probably multiple screens as well.
I'll send you a video of it on WhatsApp.
I'll have a look in a bit. I'll have a look post-episode, because if I sit and watch it now, it'd probably be a bit...
It's only 5 seconds long. Calm yourself down.
Have your tits, Danny. God grief. Oh, wow, look at that. I reckon if you showed someone that would say, "Oh, that's called vinyl."
It almost looks like something you don't want, a shiny, sticky print. But
very counter. I did print for someone where it was camouflage, and then we had this. It was actually John who had this idea of putting a clear overlay pattern over the top.
Yeah,
and it looked really cool. But it goes against my instinct of making the print super matte.
Yeah.
I hate that shiny look. So
yeah, we'll probably play a bit with that more tomorrow. And that was clear. So I'd like to put some colour into it.
To darken it.
Yeah. And
I can tell by
let
video.
it stand up a little bit rather than just clear. And give it some opacity.
You're picking up alt phrases now, aren't you?
And I just,
Right then, let me do you a solid, and I'm going to ask you a question from Hewitt, so that you don't have to go on to YouTube comments and answer it there.
I can't play with this internet connection, you know that.
No. So we were talking about screens, etc. last week. Now Hewitt is wondering, if you have a 43 standard mesh and a 43S mesh, would the S mesh, or the hydro mesh, I think is a brand name for it, the hydro mesh have larger holes and act more like a lower mesh? If so, is there a possibility of needing to up the mesh count so you can hold the detail again? Now, do you want me to predict what you're going to... No, I'm not going to predict what you're going to say, but my answer, I'm just taking a guess. Because the monofilament threads are finer, I'm predicting that the holes will be bigger. Or is that wrong?
No, you're right.
All right, there you go.
The whole answer to that question is yes.
Right, there you go. Moving on.
It's a difficult one to do without a pen and paper in front of me.
Yeah,
and I try and do this with a pen and paper in front of me. So we've got, if you can see my fingers there, I've got a thread count of 3.
Yeah,
with my big fat sausage fingers.
want to say, who's cut your fucking fingertips off?
Now, if my fingers were thinner, but those outside were still in the same position, then obviously I'd have more hole.
More hole, yeah. Well, this is what
that's what it's about. There's some really interesting articles online about it. Interesting if you've got no social life like me. About open area. So the open area is a calculation, and the calculation is L times W minus the thickness of the thread and the area. So we can have an area of 1 square centimetre, but 60% of that area may be covered by mesh.
Yeah.
So if I make that thread thinner, now only 40% of that area is covered by mesh. So therefore, I can push more ink through. So my thread count, which is the number of vertical threads in a given set measurement, centimetre or inch if you're from 1950s or live in America, then I automatically get more open area. Open area equals holes. So if I have more holes, I can put more ink through, if we dumb it right down. Which means that, yes, he's right. If I measured the ink left in my screen after one squeegee push...
Probably have shit tons left behind if you're pushing.
After one squeegee pull...
Yeah.
So if I put 100 grams of ink into my screen, and I do a pull, and then I measure the screen again, and I find out that I've printed 3 grams of ink on my screen, on my T-shirt.
Yeah.
That's through a 43 normal mesh. So now what I would do is swap that mesh for a 43 hydro, or very thin thread, do exactly the same pull with the same settings and parameters, and I find that I've pushed 5 grams of ink through. Because it's the bigger holes, because there's thinner threads between them, allow me to push more ink through onto the shirt. Remember the golden rule, when we're looking at a print and we're trying to assess anything, the only thing that's wrong with it is it's either got too much ink or it's not enough ink.
Yeah.
And then we work back through our parameters, right, what can I do to get more ink? If it's patchy, and I can see the shirt through it, it's got holes in it, I need more ink. If it's blurred and I can't read the writing, I need less ink.
Yeah.
And as much as we try and dress printing up, it falls into those two categories. What's wrong with this print? It's either too much ink or not enough ink.
Yeah, it does. Even stuff where you've got your edges that are bleeding together.
Yeah.
Too much ink at edges.
And then I use the 5 basic principles: mesh, blade, speed, pressure, angle. And it's always those 5: mesh, blade, speed, pressure, angle. And I use those 5 parameters to give me either less ink or more ink. Mesh, blade, speed, pressure, angle.
What if you just over-reduce your inks? Don't fill
Then you're using too much pressure. You don't need that much pressure for a thin ink.
Yeah, fair enough. You won that battle, Tony.
No bad.
Oh, God. So Adobe, they're a bunch of fuckers, aren't they?
Have they done you? Have you finally caught up with you?
They've done us. There's a workaround, though.
Have you found one? You'll have to share it workaround, and then Adobe will come and prosecute you.
Well, I won't say it out loud, but if anybody wants to know, a conglomerate of us worked it out. It was a joint effort.
Yeah, I've heard that people copy the swatches book.
Well, now we're going to come for this.
No, it's quite wide knowledge that do it now before they take it away.
Yeah.
Make a copy of that swatch book and put it back in.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Then it doesn't update now.
Well, the theory is if it updates, you just drag it back in, don't you?
Little fuckers. A little fucker.
Terrible, isn't it? So I was speaking to Disprints, and both of us sort of thought, surely they've just opened the door for someone else to come and set a standard, right? To come up with a new way of referencing colours.
Absolutely, but they've put at least 60 years' work into it.
Yeah,
nobody else wants to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want a garage door matching, you don't use a Pantone colour, you use a RAL system.
RAL colour, yeah.
So maybe RAL colours can come in, but, they're so deeply ingrained into everything from media-wise that it would take a lot of changing. It's easier to pay the £15.
And one of the things I think, so like from a printer's perspective, or a graphics designer event, whatever industry you're in that uses Pantones, you, the printer or the graphics designer, etc., that's not so bad. Oh, God, it's a pain in the ass, we have to pay for it. But then what about the customer, the client? Like, not all of these clients, they've made it really inaccessible for them now. Are you expecting all these clients, like startup brands, etc., maybe the bigger brands, are going to go and buy a Pantone book? Fair enough.
Make our life easier if they haven't got one.
Yeah.
I wonder. I've not. Right. So you've caught me on the guard here because I've done no research into this. It's just all hearsay. And it hasn't happened. I've still got the swatches on my version.
Yeah, well, it's funny because it seems to be happening to people at different times.
Randomly, yeah. What I'd like to know, is it a Pantone issue or is it an Adobe issue?
I've heard both stories.
So therefore, your Coral Draw, if I can still get Pantones in Coral Draw, as much as I don't like Coral Draw, I'll switch to that.
Yeah, so the students, yeah.
So it's Adobe that's going to lose, not Pantone.
Yeah. Well,
So
to be honest with you, the big loser is Adobe.
If I think that it's the software program that's put a limit on me using these colours, but I can still use the colours with a cheaper version of a program, which is either Adobe or there's another couple of free ones come out. And if they allow me to use the most up to date Pantones, screw Adobe. I'll go to Corel Draw.
Coral. Yeah.
Corel.
Yeah. There's different stories. I've heard. I think they've both fallen out with each other over charging and stuff like that. But then there's the argument that Adobe, when you look at the Pantones that's been in Adobe, like 10 years old, they've not updated, have they?
Well, Pantone Plus has been updated, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I've got that in my Photoshop now.
If you do Pantone Plus and you're linked because you haven't got a snide copy of Adobe,
no, I've got a proper version now.
then it should update and it should keep up to date.
True.
But because Pantone, my pet hate about Pantone is they invent fucking 200 colours a year for some reason, and they always have a colour of the year. What, this year? Did that colour not exist last year? No, it wasn't here. The fuck? There's only so many colours you can actually make. Stop making them. Stop inventing them. And I did find an old Pantone book that was in colour or in number order. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, actually, yeah.
That's the old way. When it used to be in number order, dead simple. You get to 200s, 300s, 400s. That's what I want, look. Dead simple.
It's so hard to scroll through a book.
I just can't see that index at the back
pick out a
anymore.
colour. It's terrible. Really inconvenient.
It is,
So, whilst we're talking about pet hates, funnily enough, that's something I've got written down in my non-existent list.
Yeah, every time you switch over to Google, Google Sheets, your face lights up with reflection at white Google Sheet in background.
So I can't even do it on slide now.
No, we saw you do it. Yeah.
So I just wrote down the word pet, screen print pet hates. Now I know what your number one is. It's pushing ink. Pushing ink is definitely number one.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm going to
so
say
it's not your number. So something tops it then, eh?
Yeah. And I got this. This ties into last week's visit. Probably my pet hate across everything is bad screens. Low tension screens. So I've been wanting to buy myself a little tension meter for ages because I'm from Yorkshire. I don't like spending money, number one. Okay, I've seen one at 350 quid, digital, all singing, all dancing. Think that's great. And then I think to myself, no, because every shop I go in should have a tension meter.
I think so, yeah.
They should have
one, but we should.
Every shop I go in should have a tension meter, especially these big shops.
Yeah.
And I go in and ask for the tension meter, and it's in the office. Why is it in the office? Because it's expensive. If it's in the office, you don't fucking use it, do you? Oh, no, we don't. We're not allowed to use it. It's too expensive. And so last week I went like, these screens are really low tension. Have you got a tension meter? Actually, yeah. Oh, find it for us. Yeah, it took them 10 minutes to find it, so they obviously don't use it all the time. But they brought it out. it wasn't calibrated. So we calibrated it and checked some screens, and we were getting 11s and 12s and 13s.
Yeah.
So, we're like, okay. We really need to look at this and address it. You've got 200 screens in the premises. They want checking, and find yourself a tolerant value. For me, it's 18. For others, it's 16, wherever it is. And say, right, okay, if it's below 16, it goes to the bin. If it's above 16, we keep it. And he got back to me a couple of days ago with a full list. That's right, Tony, we've tested every screen. Wow. Yeah, we've sat down, done a proper project, sat down, tested, written it down, filled an Excel sheet in, recorded the mesh count, recorded the tension. A lot of them were under 11.
Get out.
Out of 180, they kept 40.
Fucking hell.
And
That's
those
expensive.
40 were just going up. It is expensive, but no. What's more expensive...
Cheaper than crappy prints.
...is the crappy prints and the time taken to just get up to a crappy print.
Yeah.
God, I hope my customers don't listen to this shit. No, they understand. They understand that you can't make a silk purse on a sow's ear. You have to have. You've never heard that saying before, have you?
No, I'm trying to work it out still.
You can't make a silk purse from a pig's ear.
Right. All right. I think I get it.
You have to have something good to start with. So,
right.
Cutting back. My pet here is baggy slack screens, and the assumption that the screen is here and hasn't got any holes in it, therefore it's good to use.
It's fine. I know someone who has quite a good system, and what they do is they have like a barcode scanner, and every screen's got a barcode, and they scan it. So every time they go to use the screen,
is this the guy up in Canada?
Yeah. Every time he goes to use the screen,
I like that.
Measures it,
QR
scans it, he just updates it in his system.
I think he spends more time making labels than T-shirts, but yeah, I do know what you mean. Oh, don't do this to me. You've gone again.
One eternity later.
Remind me, we were talking about... I know a fella who's got a really good system of barcoding. And he has a little scanner.
His screens, yeah. Little QR code, actually. Yeah.
Oh, is it QR code?
Yeah, little QR code.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. So I borrowed that idea. And, I've got some. Hang on.
Show and tell.
Oh, and it worked out well, this.
Isn't it? It's slick. I've never seen that much slick in my life.
There we go.
The right way. There you go. Some QR codes.
Got some QR codes. And I've built a system into my Monday.com.
Oh.
So now I've built like a store. I'm going to call it a storeroom, but it's just a store shelf. A store row of shelves. And all my supplies from the entire shop, from bin liners, emulsion stripper, ink cleaner, baby wipes, absolutely everything. They've each got a little barcode on this shelf. And every time I go pull one off the shelf, I just scan it with my phone. Just scan barcode. And then it says how many. And you type in how many and press enter. And then it updates Monday automatically. So when I'm sat in front of Monday.com on my computer, I've automated it to say running low. It'll remind me. It'll say, oh, you're running low on baby wipes. Or you're running low on
you need some shit roll.
You need some bog roll. So I've automated the whole thing, which is probably a bit overkill for a one-man band, but...
I don't think so at all. I think you expand it across your shop now. Make it into all the inks, all the glue, all the screen.
Yeah,
go for it. Absolutely.
Well, I thought about the ink. That's a bit difficult because you're taking out different amounts every time, aren't you? But
every time you open a tub or don't open a tub, then make it a one tubber. You've got one tub in mixing and one tub on shelf.
Oh yeah, well you could do it per tub, I guess. I thought you meant like as you're taking ink out.
No, not per gram. No, per tub.
Per tub. Sarah sent me a link to a much cheaper version of Monday.com, like another rival competitor.
Called what?
ClickUp, I think it was called.
Okay. Sounds like an Aldi version, doesn't it?
It does a bit. And I had to go of it, and I...
Aldi.
All direct discount. And it was, you can tell it was a bit cheaper. There's a reason it's a bit cheaper. But Sarah says it's good for what she needs, and if anybody who's listening who don't want to pay Monty's extortionate prices, give it a go. But I've got it all automated now, and those features I couldn't get in the cheaper version, so you know.
We've had a not a bad little natter. We've caught up. We've had a little bit of a chat about what we're doing. I'm over in France. You're playing with your highbuild. You're going all organised, like you said you were going to on your New Year's resolutions. We're still in January, and you're doing all right. We started eating chips and sat on your own eating chocolates and not going to gym yet. Or are you still doing a bit?
No, I've been training hard again.
Check you out.
Starting to walk around like an old man again, which is a good thing. It means it's working.
Yeah,
in theory.
Yeah, well, I'm still doing it. I'm still stuck on my plan, so I'm doing all right. I went for a run down the Dordogne River yesterday. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, and now I'm going to go for burger and beer. No, I'm not.
Have you stuck to your, let's not say, dry January? Is that what we're calling it? Dry January?
The limiting of my alcohol intake.
Yeah.
It's still limited, yeah. It's not zero, but it's limited. So, yeah, we're doing all right.
All right. Well, that's good to know. So, you're managing to get runs in even in... So, you're going abroad and you're managing to get runs in. Are you getting them in gyms or are you just literally just going out and having a run? Do you not feel unsafe?
I used to do this before, so I'm okay with it. When I was travelling before, I used to do this. So to me, it's okay. And it's actually a good way of getting around and having a look what's here.
Yeah.
Stick your shorts on and go for a run. It's all right. There are some places you can't go. And if I've got a hotel with a treadmill, I'll do my runs on the treadmill. Yeah. And if I haven't, so this sort of Bates motel that I'm in, there's no treadmill here. So I asked around locally and they said, but you're only like 100 yards away from a little river path that runs down and you can run outside the river. Yeah, for me. And it was pissing it down all day. And then when I finished work, sun came out, glorious sky, nice and warm. I thought, I'm off for a run. Do it.
Not bad. Worked out well then.
And today it's pissing it down, it's dark, it's cold, and I thought, I'm off for a burger.
Yeah, fair. Good choice.
Fair point, yeah.
So you're in France for a little bit longer?
Leave tomorrow, last day working tomorrow, and then me and you have got a real logistical nightmare on our hands.
Well, considering how much fun this episode's been with the connection troubles.
It's much better internet where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We'll be fine. I think.
Well, I've got a new connection coming. 500.
You've got a new bent coat hanger sticking out the window.
Fucking twisted. Used to do that with fork. Stick it into back at telly. Do you know what it is? There'll be people listening to this who won't remember that, but won't have a clue what you're on about. What are you sticking a fork in telly for? A coat hanger for?
Back in day. I was on their own 4 channels, so I want it.
Yeah, there were. Well, Channel 5 came about not too long after. Because you always struggled to get that, though, didn't you?
You had to turn up, you had to get out your chair to turn telly over.
You did, yeah.
You didn't have a clicker. One early clicker were on a wire. The dog used
on
to fall over
it.
Yeah, early clickers were on a wire, yeah. I'm not old.
God.
Move on.
Right. Let's go. Let's do.
I think we're pretty much wrapped up for this episode. We've covered a bit of stochastic. I sent you that word just in case you didn't know what it was on chat.
Yeah, well, all I hear is sarcastic. So it's sarcastic with a T.
Look at it on chat. Look at on chat how I've sent you it, how it's spelled. It's not sarcastic.
On messages.
No, on Riverside.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. If anyone's thinking about starting a podcast, I'm not. What's I get? It's a bit of a pain in the ass.
No, let us know what you're using.
Yeah, let us know what you're using. Stochastic. Oh.
Yeah.
Turnipy. Did you hear what Images magazine says? He's going to change it to Turny.
He contacted me. So is it okay if we call the next one Turny? No. I thought you'd be okay with it. No, I'm not okay with it. I don't want it to be called Turny. No. But Danny said, I don't care what Danny said. No.
Bless.
So, I think we'll wrap this week up as quickly as possible and run like mad out the door before anybody holds us accountable for this shit show. And all that remains to be said is, if for any strange reason you really should seek mental help, but if not, then you can like, follow and subscribe and keep up to date with us. Don't forget to follow the Chippy Tea Instagram. Drop us a DM. Any questions you've got. Okay, take advantage of this. This is the perfect opportunity to ask one of us a question. Obviously me, not Danny. You don't need to ask Danny anything. Unless it's how to generate QR codes, which I might ask you to do later. How to generate a QR code and make a sticker. That might be something. But anything else, just drop us a question, leave a comment. In the YouTube section, you can leave a comment, because Danny's always watching that.
Yep.
DM Flipping Sweet Print Co. or DM Palm Print, or send a carrier pigeon.
Chippy Tea Official.
Chippy Tea Official. Yeah, you can DM Chippy Tea Official. Either way, we'll get it. And it's your chance to sort of like see if you can catch Danny out. See if there's some stuff he doesn't know.
Yeah. Doubt it. Well, you can try.
Yeah, you can try. We like a challenge. So we will wrap up this week's episode. Thank you again for listening and eavesdropping into our little conversation that me and Danny have on a Friday evening, just to have a catch up and see what's new and what's different and what we've seen that's blown us away this week. And if you see anything that's blown you away, just drop us a little line. We'll do some research. We'll talk about it on here. We might even open it up and you can send a little video in and be featured on the podcast.
How about that?
Yeah. So thank you very much for listening. All that remains to be said is, from me, Tony P, Derny P, Derny P, I'll see thee. And
See
from
you in a
Danny,
bit. Civvy, all best. Stay safe.
all
Catch you next
best.
time.
I'll see the fruit window. Aye.
Civvy through window. If I shouldn't civvy through week, I'll civvy through window.
That's
As Keith would say.
That's Keith, yeah, definitely.
I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tea.